Butler. Ms Thompson.
Thank you, Chair. My question's directed at GenSpect. So the bill requires NCAT to notify the parents of a child under 16 who submits an application to alter their sex unless it adversely affects the child. Can you expand on your concerns about NCAT determining if a child is adversely affected?
So, sorry, can you just... So,
page 4 of your submission.
If a child is adversely affected?
Yes, so the NCAT must notify the parents of a child under 16 who submits an application to alter their sex unless it adversely affects the child. So notifying the parents will adversely affect the child. So do you have concerns around NCAT determining if a child is adversely affected?
Yes.
And
well, how would adversely affected be defined?
Thank you, that's my question.
Well, I'm putting that back on you. Can you tell me how that is defined?
So NCAT would define if a child is adversely affected. So if the parents are not, there's not a good relationship between the child and the parents per se, or the parents don't agree with the decision by the child, if they're a minor. So well, NCAT ultimately would make that decision.
Agree with children about lots of things. So I would not say that was a reason to state that the child is adversely affected because the parents don't agree.
Yep. So you've made comments about this in your submission.
Yes.
Yep. So I'm asking you to comment on that.
You're asking me to comment if the parents...
On your page 4...
I understand what you're asking me, but I'm asking the definition of being adversely affected.
What's your definition of being adversely affected?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. We've said, well, yeah, that the parental rights are undermined by allowing NCAT to approve name and sex change of children under 16 against the wishes of parents. Okay. So I'm putting to you that if
that's your concern,
parents, then I don't understand. You're the one who needs to come up. Under what situations is this? I'm not understanding. If it adversely affects the child.
So if a child is making a decision to alter their sex through medical intervention, if they're under the age of 16, so they've made an application to NCAT.
They're a minor. We're opposing the fact that children should be able to do that.
So I was asking for your views, and you've shared those, so thank you. Does anyone else want to speak on that matter? Yep.
Yeah, I want to speak about that adversely affected too.
Yeah.
Because what we've found, so in our group we've got Tess, who's run rapid onset gender dysphoria parents for about 9 years. And as I said, we get about 4 to 5 parents calling us every week. I've asked her actually to document it for about a year, exactly how many calls are parents crying because the state has come in to take their child. And the reason why the state can take their child is because this is an ideology that if you do not gender affirm a child, that child will commit suicide, and that's leveraged to have those kids do things like mastectomies, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones. And despite what you've heard, and we will provide the data for it, these are irreversible treatments. These are dangerous treatments. So it's natural for any parent to want to say, well, what does this mean? What is the consequence of my child? That's the job of a parent. So adverse historically has been anyone who is opposed to automatically affirming a child and putting them on a medical pathway. I would say to you, isn't it a job of a parent to explore all ramifications of those decisions, particularly in the stage of social media and social contagion of the influences? Now, Tess's case was that they had a trans folk lobby member come in pretending to be one of the departments to take her child away to a glitter family and then called her abusive because she didn't know what was going on. You know, we've had a case in Bernard Lane had a case in Western Australia in 2020 when the parents got a knock on the door. There were 2 policemen there. They asked the parents for their daughter. They're wondering, well, what the heck's going on? You know, The police said, we'd like to take her outside and talk to her. Then they picked her up, put her in the car. Parents had no idea what's going on, drove her straight to the gender clinic. Not too long ago, she had mastectomies. They haven't seen her in 4 years. This is not a rare case. We've got hundreds of reports of this. And we've got things like the family court, because it's gone along with this.
Thank
and
you.
You may look and think, nod your head, but you are not in the shoes of our parents, our families, of those kind of experiences. To lose your daughter or child by the state because you've got this fallacy, you've got this lie, that it's wrong to be against someone automatically affirming a child and putting them on a medical pathway.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Still very mindful of time. We've got 2 minutes left.